dear brothers and sisters. This morning's first reading is taken from the book of Genesis, chapter 37. I'm sure most of us are very familiar with the story that we find there. That is, Jacob, who is also known as Israel, had 13 children, 12 boys and 1 girl. And among the 12 children, the youngest one was Benjamin. And Jacob was very fond of him because he always said, "He is the child of my old age." And he cared for him, he loved him, and he wanted to be always with him. But among all the children, Jacob was extremely fond of Joseph. And Joseph was the favorite. And because he was very favorite, there were little things that Jacob did for Joseph which brought about sibling rivalry among the children. And as the children began to experience the sibling rivalry, which is very normal, which is very natural growth experience happening in all the families where there are more than one child. And so it was very natural part of the growth experience of the children. But this sibling rivalry, sometime or the other, most of them get over it. Roughly by the time they are about 10, 12, 15 years old, they overcome it. But sometimes this sibling rivalry turns into jealousy. And when it turns into jealousy, then it becomes a great vice, something very difficult for people to handle. Ordinarily, it is said that men experience jealousy intensely, but women express jealousy intensely. And so, it is fortunate that men only experience jealousy. And if they have to express the jealousy, it will be terrible, as we find in today's first reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 37. Women, they express the jealousy, and to a great extent, they are able to cope up much more easily than men. And what are the causes for experiencing jealousy? The first and the most common cause for experiencing jealousy is comparison, the natural tendency and the inclination to compare oneself with others. And that's what happened, that everyone was trying to compare himself with Joseph. Then we also find that another reason why people tend to feel jealous is because of a weaker personality. And they compare one's personality with others. Or when somebody finds that he or she is not very capable, not very competent, or when they feel they are inferior in comparison with others. And these are some of the things which would naturally make people to feel jealous. And jealousy, as I said, is experienced perhaps by everyone. There's very few people who have the skills and the natural capacity not to experience jealousy at all. Maximum people experience jealousy, but we also have the coping skills, abilities, and ways and means of overcoming this experience of jealousy. And ordinarily, we express jealousy. When we experience, we express jealousy. And we feel jealous and we express jealousy ordinarily in 5 important areas. The first important area we express jealousy or experience jealousy and express it would be when we find somebody is intellectually superior. someone who is able to know things, able to remember, has a wide range of knowledge, ordinarily we tend to compare and feel jealous about them. And the second area where we feel jealous about others is when we find somebody has social skills, ability to relate well with people, and also to have many, many friends. And not only to have friends, but also these friends would come and meet them. And then when we see that somebody has social skills, extrovert personality, and also a person who is able to have many friends who come and meet them, who enjoy their company, others would tend to feel jealous. And the third area where we experience jealousy is when we find someone is financially very well off. Material things a person possesses, and seeing somebody who is very well off, who has big financial backing, others who are not so well off would tend to feel naturally very jealous. And the fourth area where we tend to feel jealous is when we find somebody is highly talented, multi-talented, as gifted with many, many ways of functioning, is able to have multitasking in a very easy way. And when we find somebody is talented and gifted, we tend to feel jealous. And the last area where we tend to feel jealous is when we find somebody has a very physical, good health or good appearance. Then when we look at them, those who are not so good looking or not so well built would tend to feel a little jealous. So jealousy is a very common experience of most of us. And the way we experience, the Lord also has given us ways and means of coping with them to mitigate or to reduce them. So let us pray today that the Lord may help us, bless us, guide us, so that we may be able to cope up with our experiences of jealousy and strive to overcome as much as possible. Amen.